Go míle maith Gaeilge on Sochtan Show. A very quick one before we get going. If you've been learning Irish for a while, but you still feel stuck or frustrated when it comes to speaking, that is exactly what we fix on the Learn Irish Online membership. As an LIO member, you get the structure and help you need to finally start speaking with real confidence from day one. Because unlike other schools or apps, we teach you what you actually need to know for everyday use of the language. You can sign up for a free trial today. I guarantee within a week you'll feel clearer in speaking the language and how you can continue your progress moving forward. If not, you can cancel. You've lost nothing. But guess what? In 2025, over 90% of learners just like you who signed up stuck with us after their free trial because it made a serious difference in their ability to speak as Gaeilge, and the majority of them are still with us to this day. You can join now at patreon.com/learnirishonline or simply search for us on the Patreon app. Hi folks. It's Eve. Welcome back to the show. Fáilte ras week on show. You are now listening to episode number 150. Tatunis Gaeilge le EAGRÁN iver céad is a chuige. I suppose in some ways is stoilon chlé. It's a milestone number or a milestone episode. Gur iver tábhaach agus EAGRÁN tábhaach no milestone é seo. Not doing anything special first. They must hunt Ianrod specialta a yen do very kind of normal episode of GW today. Gná episode to GW in yo, which almost is a better way of celebrating that number. Just doing what we normally do, because that's what we've been doing for most of the last 3 years. Shin and Rud will o yen o agin le 3 blina no just mo to the 3 blina anus. But thank you very much for listening up until now. Maybe we'll do something a bit more special when we get to episode number 200. Beidir Ganyéin Muds Rodeg and Biogany ní specialta nor Ricken Muds le Cuna J with help God episode no EAGRÁN iver Rá Chéad sa Tauki. There is one thing I do have to say though before anything else. Tá Rudawan I'm Rá Riv Ein Rodella. Just a very quick announcement. Folger on a topic is that this will be the last episode of Gaeilge Weekly going out before the summer break, or before kind of summer holidays, Laethantaí Saoire an Tauri no sus an Tauri. So that's something we do every year as scheduled. Nothing's changed or happened. Don't worry about that. Ní Laenrod Taris Tarlu no Ahru no Aenrod Marshin. Every summer on July or August, basically depending on when I want to take my holidays. Gobunasuk Bransay Cahan Vin Misha Igiri Mohuij Laethantaí Saoire a Hogal. We take about 3 or 4 weeks off. 3, Kerashacht and Saoire. There will be 1 or 2 things going out on the Gaeilge Weekly feed. By road no ho ag Dulamak on feed Gaeilge Weekly. Something we've uploaded before, but hopefully you might enjoy, and new listeners especially, H3 Nua Gohoriha. They'll be coming out over the next few weeks, but the next episode of the normal Gaeilge Weekly will be coming out either the last Thursday in August on Déardín Déarnach Imi Lunasa, or the first Thursday in September on Chéad Déardín Imi Bhionfóir. That depends on a few different things, but if you're following us over on Instagram and if you're a member on the Learn Irish Online membership on Patreon, má tátu at the wall, hall Patreon, má tátu in our language, Instagram, you'll be the first to hear about when exactly we will be coming back. Cahan Gadurk Vesmuds Egjacht Arash. So, I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 28th of July. Tamik Tafdu on Octu Law is Feha Me Ul, and is the first ever episode of Gaeilge Weekly in which Mayo have won the All-Ireland, or after Mayo have won the All-Ireland. Thresh the Hyundai Wayo Fuyera finally crave na Heron of Vukins. Many people thought this day or this event would never arrive. The Alandini Kappa nach Jochuk an Imocht agus an Okaj show, but it has come and it has been done. The famine is over. Tá Gerta Heart. And if you go back to different podcasts last week, previewing the game and talking about the game, Mohinta or Ashwig Pod Crailty Differula, ag Lauert Winkleha, agus ag Danu preview Jinkleha, you'll hear a lot of the same stuff by Tuanan. Na ruddy Cana a Chlustal, Kerry by 4. Kerry will have too much for them. Kerry the stronger team. Kerry will win it in the end. Kerry will pull away. Kerry will last 15 minutes, they'll have the better of them. But there aren't many podcasts ní mór an pulchrailty that you can go back to now and hear a prediction for a Mayo win. Ní mór an pulchrailty in the will to an land dul sheer agus éisteach lo agus bua bhaio a bheith acu sa pulchrail mar prediction. But head back to last week's episode, and I'm happy to say a broken clock is right twice a day. Not going to translate that one into Irish name on Cian Sin a Astru go Gaeilge. But thankfully, I said I had a feeling Lord's make grab Mohukan Agam that Mayo would get the job done, that the curse would be over. Gemech on Malacht, the nonsensical curse, which doesn't even really exist. Well, definitely doesn't exist now. On Malach Shaffold's Shin nach Willaun in our no Kinsa nach Will Shaun Inish Teresh on Chleha Egg on Jerushatana after the game at the weekend. And they did it and wash away to do it. To start off so badly in the first 20 minutes. Hun droch hús a bhacu sa chéad fehanóid. But Kerry didn't take their chances. They didn't pull away when they got the chance. Ní raushi ná an barn na sin a chrochúd. Great that gap nervy on chance acu. And Mayo were always going to play better at some point in the game. I gcónaí bhí Mayo hun immert níos fearr ag pointe éigen sa chluithe. They did. They got the goal in the second half, which is key. Forsheed and cool shin said Dar Lavisha shin fear Havituk, and was an unbelievable then at the end, streaming away on the counter, and Kobe McDonald's a big parish fish, and then them getting the points and points at all that really just put it to bed. Agus a chreitni rockrod Neowan sa cluthe shin, but the points that finished 75 years of hurt on points a chur zera like Cuig bliana is seachtaí de pain agus fullingt agus dreama, pain, suffering, disappointment, and unbelievable scenes then. All the small stuff that go along with winning the All-Ireland, the banquet afterwards and the train home the next day, on dinner bhín acu in Ia sin and live on RTE, of course, bio RTE come on. And then the train back home the next day on train Arash Kumoyo on Law Der Gyon and McHale Park, and the different reactions from people in Mayo around Ireland and around the world. The reactions of Roini Igun Le Wayo, August Chimpel and Heron, August Chimpel and Down. Very, very special indeed. I'm sure if you're a Kerry man or woman, it's not as special, but even then you can understand why it means so much to Mayo people. Cén fáil to Cobh Tábhachtach Lime Windsor Mayo, and it turned into very much a national occasion in a lot of ways. Dafri sé agus Jairi sé mar ócáid náisiúnta Chlí, because I think so many people, even if they weren't from Mayo, you know, I'm from Galway myself, so we're big rivals of Mayo. Tá umiocht an war agin le Mayo, and often playing them in the Connacht final or semi-final, the Goni Gimmerts in eyes sa chléthe Laethantaí a Gonacht no sa chléthe Ceannis, and all the different battles we've had with them over the years. Na Kahana a bhí agin low treats na blinta, but still I was very happy to see Mayo get over the line and get it done. And a day people never forget. People are called the most special day in Croke Park history. Tadini Rog will say Beidir mar on law is specialta is star for on Croke. Where I was watching it, there were grown men in tears at the full-time whistle. The fear fásta ag cuioine ag deireadh an chluithe, and that's the cool thing about sports sometimes, isn't it? Sinna rud cool for sport. I'm not going to go too much into sport or the game today because I've been going on about Gaelic football all summer. Níl mo hun labhart sa numar go faoin sport nó faoin cluiche sin ag an Jerushatana, mar bhí mé ag labhart faoi go minic le cúpla mí anús. But, you know, with sports sometimes you can get so obsessed, or people get so obsessed with tactics, analysis and strategy, tactically, analyse, stratéis, and other things like that, agus rudí eile cosúla sin. But you realise then when there's Troy Parrott's goal against Hungary last year, cool Troy Parrott in Ainungra, Unuri, or when there's Ronan O'Gara's drop goal in 2009, drop goal O'Gara Gavil is Ani, or again at the weekend there, bit different of course because it's not quite all the country supporting them. Neil say it's probably pretty close, but not everyone ní gach then ag tackle le Mayo, but Mayo getting over the line and lifting the cup up on the top steps. Ag crocu on the churann sin, ag crocu on San Maguire, hús ag na céimena ag borch na crocaig. those are the moments you realise that's what sport is about. And seeing Castlebar the day after and people in the stadium, Dini, Sustad, Michael celebrating the victory and how much it means to them and how it brings people together, even people who don't care about sport or don't understand the new rules or any of that nonsense. Dini Knockwell Tishkent, Aku, Bader, and the Rilika Nuags, Ni Higgin Shield on Sport, and so on, Agus Marshinja. That's what's really cool about it, and how sport is bigger than just the physical sport itself. Tá sé wadní smó ná an sport physicúil é hain. So really, really cool scenes at the weekend, and a good reminder about the importance of sport. Miarú das madr leis an tábhacht of winning le sport, and thinking how many young, I'm sure most young lads and lassies in May are already playing Gaelic football anyway, because it's football mad county. Tá siad crackalsa don fel chuile callin sin, but how many more will now get into it or go to more sessions or take up coaching or whatever it will be to help more people participate and enjoy the game? And that's what it's about. Sin rud is tábhachtaí, as opposed to, well, they might go on and produce better players in the future, whatever. You know, Níl sin ro hábhaach. Really, that's not too important at the end of the day. Unlike the most important thing is that kids and people get the chance to play these sports and enjoy them and socialise and meet people and have fun and exercise. Aclíochtaí agus atna a chur ar chuoine agus skillna sóisialta a chrothú agus, you know, na rudí sin a dhéanamh to do those things. So, aside from that, tomorrow I'm going away on my holidays, kind of as I mentioned earlier, mar a Louis May Riva, and I'm heading back home to Ireland. Of course, when you spend a bit of the year out here in Spain, heading back home to Ireland, then after a while, Thresh Tamil, like Dullarash Gahiran, it's like a holidays. Toshik Sula Leichen Sira. And even though a lot of people are probably going the other way, Kegwell Alon Dini Bedrick Dull and Stroella from Ireland to Spain, or Aaron could see on Spawn. I'm certainly very happy to be going the way I'm going from Spain, from Seville to Cork tomorrow, o Seville go Kirkig o Mork, to get away from the heat. First of all, hun an shocht a chakens dús. Have to say the heat really, and this may surprise people because I know it's been in the headlines, Shans go gurhi sé seo intas chuoine mar tá sam grau sé sna cean líonse agus gúil sé fós sna cean líonse in terms of the fires and obviously the heat waves that Ireland's had around Europe. Everyone has had na tun tasa timple na Horpa agus timple na Héireann Covma, but actually in Seville, which is I think the hottest city in continental Europe, Captain Gwil Seville mar an chahar, is cho san Orp no Morin na Horpa Arenos. And that's that. Actually, it's not been that hot here this summer. Well, it's still been hot, still been in the 30s. You know, it's in Truckadzi, Truckatri, Truckachar, Truckuig, Marshinja. But really, compared to other summers where it would have been 40 almost every day in July or August, or constantly 37, 38, 39, some days 42, 43. There was one day last year, every law one, Anuri, I think, where it hit 44, which is the hottest I've ever experienced here in Seville, or anywhere for that matter. Shina unsoked Isordza. Hunnic Misha is Seville, no Aonach. But this year it's been more so 32, 33, not sure why. It's so hard to predict weather nowadays, it feels like, because there's so many weird things happening. But obviously a lot of fires going on, but they're mostly up in the north, or the centre of Spain, who's it Dúsgar na Spáine, no Lor na Spáine down here in the south, which is traditionally and always has been the hottest part. He's on just Jeshgart on Notch, Wilmar on Huij is show. It's not been that bad at all. Ni Roushe Rokon and Kajisho Arenos until now, and thankfully I'm getting out just in time because I won't be back until around the end of August. Ni Vai Mirash Kaji Harter Zera the Lunasa. It really has been that bad. Ni Roushe Rokona Fos. So lucky in that sense, but also still quite hot. So looking forward to getting home to Ireland, and even if there's not a heat wave, and if all the good weather is gone in Ireland, few will thought, and I'm sure Jas Imiha in Erin, that is fine by me to have a 20-degree day, to have a cool day, to be able to wear my jeans again and my hoodie. It may sound strange, Beidir will come ashtach shin, but when you live here, like anything, you always grass is always greener. You always want the thing on the other side. You only thought to be gary on road air on Tave Ella, and that's certainly my feelings. Heading back to Ireland tomorrow, Mavochan Hain Igdol Arashag Sigfilu Heron Omork. And loads of different plans in Ireland over the next few weeks. Along plan na Jeffrula in Erin, Snakupla Shachten Ata Omachron, Looking forward to flying into Cork and staying there tomorrow night, but also heading up to Belfast for a night or two. Ag dul go bhéal férstar fa íhan nó go to go to the Fla. Chun freastal Fla cheol na Héireann. First ever time going to that, although is that something similar called Tradfest last year in Belfast. Cé go raibh ag rud ag an sais cosúil leis an Fla, no mini Fla an nuirí email férstar dar bhanam on Tradfest. As well as that, Kamala Shin, a night out on a sheer. So looking forward to just spend a bit of time different places in Ireland, of course, most of it just where I'm from, in Galway, on chuideas móide. So náts abas me hín, igon na Gailge. And then, of course, my trip to Canada, which I was speaking about 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show on Thursday, Canada, around me ag labhairt faoi cúpla seachtain ó hin on Bud Chéile, heading to Newfoundland, Talamh and also to Toronto. I look forward to that. And again, if you're listening and you're in Toronto or Newfoundland, Talamh no Toronto, you have any tips or you're going to be around or whatever you think I should know about those places, let me know. liam.learnirishonline@gmail.com. No chalkdrucht Instagram. A message, a DM over on Insta. I've been happy to say over the last few months I've pretty much got off social media. But my size imithe ónam Jan ho shield. I still sometimes find myself clicking into it, and I shouldn't be. But for the most part, don't chuideas mó, I'm not on it, and I just log in once a day to check if there's any messages, and if there's not, straight back out. And it's made a massive difference, I must say, to how I feel. Tá difriocht ulwar module cunas of O'Hean me. And goodness, it feels, the odd few times I do log in and scroll through stuff, you know, initius reachner, vin meg log all staach, agus ag scroll all three, I feel like it's getting worse and worse and worse. Tá sé gar níos massa. Maybe it's just my algorithm, maybe it's just what I'm watching and what I'm engaging with. Chance school to just na ruddy will miss ag fake and sure who, but there's so much horrible stuff on there, and the way people speak to each other. Chui a bhín daoine ag labhairt le chéile. You think no one would ever speak to someone else like this in real life. Ní bheith chéine ag labhairt mar seo le duine ag an eile sa fíortha. Thankfully, I don't have pretty much any of it on my own page on Learnirishonline. Ní aléin rud really Laethanach LIO module le sin, but certainly on different stuff, especially political stuff. Jeez, it's so dark. It's called Durcha sin, and people living in a fantasy world. You know, daoine ag marchdal in it's nachhfuil fear or herbe. So thankfully getting off that, I've been able to get away from a lot of that nonsense and hatred and fuas shin. So yeah, what else have I got going on? Looking forward to my trip, heading back home and to my Tinigmore le Mahurs Arash Gaherin. And as well as that, definitely looking forward to having a bit of time off work. And now ag Tinigmore le Bioganin am Sear of Agam on Upper. I love working. I'm a bit of a workaholic with some stuff as even on my first. And for people who don't know, LIO, Learn Irish Online, is my full-time job. Learn Irish Online should post law, and I'm sure at Tom. So it's making podcasts like this, making podcasts like the ones that are over on the LIO membership on Patreon. In Ruddy at the Hall, an Malliart Umlan, Patreon. And I'm very lucky to have the job that I have done Todd Zaragerm on Postjo of and to be my own boss and to be able to organise my own hours and everything else. And of a fine husty hugs, some my chuids oranta, ibra, agru maheen. That stuff is really a privilege. It's privileged more in the ruddy shin. So I don't take much time off because I do really enjoy what I do, and also can't really, you know, when you have your own business, there's always work to be doing. Someone asked me the other day, you taking much time off in August, and we'll do more on Sear a whole Imi Lunas, and I said, well, it's different in my job. It's not like, I think, you know, he was just working a standard job. I think teaching, but for school or an academy, upper la acadiv no school. And I kind of said, it's different because I never really work because I love my job and I love what I do. And sorry if that's cliche or cringe. Everyone number of in bugly cliche no cringe, but it is true. Fear scale atá own. But I'm never really fully off either, because anyone can email me at any given time, and okay, I won't get back to them at midnight or anything like that. Níl mé hun, you know, scríb rash wicu ag mianíthe, but it'll be something the next day that I probably will have to get back to. Different stuff pops up, but whatever it might be, stuff online. Ruddy differul Erlene or a problem with the website or things here and there. So it's kind of, you're always on, but you're never on. Ig only caithfí tú rud éigean a dhéanamh nó bheith standby, ach ní caithfí tú riomh a bheith obair like all day long and staying up late knowing with the machine unless you really have some bad organisational skills, mátá skillna agrachta on the donad. But thankfully for me, I've been able to organise in a way where it's never really like that. Bhí me ná go dtí seo agrú bhealach nach rá sé mar sin go dtí seo. So look forward to that. And I think, one of the things interesting about spending a good bit of the year here in Seville, le cahu cuid wads in Flean an seo is Seville, is that I think they view August here, July and August, but especially August, miúlags mílúnasa, go háirithe mílúnasa. They have a very different perspective on it. Tá sais leirgas nó dearcha an difriúil acu an so mílúnasa, because the city really here be different in the north of Spain, but certainly here in the south, Gandalt an seo, so Jeshgart, the city really shuts down for August. Dúntar an chathair ire mílúnasa. Obviously, it's very hot and it's tough to do stuff during the day from about maybe midday all the way up until 8 p.m. or hartar bhean lé go dtí beidir 8 o'clock. But as well as that, there's not many people around because people are on holidays. There's more an daoine timp na háta, mar tá daoine ar Laethantaí. A lot of businesses close for the month of August. Bíonn lán cólaachtaí agus lán gnóna ag dúna ar fa mílúnasa. I mean, there's a bakery right beside me, the Bácra, Dirch in Acalumsa, and they've got a sign on the window saying in vacaciones, on vacation, God, so American, cool Americanic, Laethantaí or on holidays, on your hollybobs, as people say at home, from the 15th of July to the 1st of September. Now that's some holidays, boy. Sin Laethantaí iontacha sé seachtain gréis, if you can get it. Iontach má tuthanan é sin all. But again, for him, because the city would be so quiet during that period, it's not kind of worth his while probably staying open. Ní fiú chun fánacht oscailte. Better to just kind of hunker down in the winter or from September onwards when it's a lot busier. Níos fearr chun níos mó iireacht a chur isteach tar éis nó ó bhí bhean fómhair mar hampla nuair bhíonn níos mó daoine timpeall na háite when there's more people around the place. But in general, people go to the beach, people get away, people do different stuff, and especially with the international community here, or the other Irish that I know living in Seville, and here in Gaeilge, in the Gonian shot is Seville. It's once you get to May or June, the conversation always turns to ricin tú bhí bealtaná nó meitheamh casan an chora generálta nó typiciúil go, oh, when are you off for the summer? Or what's your plans for August? What are you doing? Because most people get away to a chuid smód a chuoine GACH. And of course, easy option is if you're from Ireland, go back to Ireland. If you're from Germany, go back to Germany, wherever it might be. Pay odds a dá ounce, sé rashwig on áit sin. But for a lot of people, it might be going travelling, it might be going north of Spain, it might be going on a road trip, beidir dul ar hers fóthir, maybe for 1 week, 2 weeks, the whole month, beidir for seachtainna, gá seachtain, caiicish. A lot of the international community here in Seville would be working with schools, so therefore they have the whole summer off, tan Saoire sir acu, and people kind of make the most of August or treat August almost in the way that we would do with Christmas in terms of taking time off. I appreciate not everybody can. A lot of people work Christmas Day or all throughout August or whatever. Irif vi lunasa agus lán an ullug agus gach orella. But for those who can, kind of having that month, which we don't really do at home, of course. People go on holidays in August, being dínig dul ar Laethantaí, but there's not this kind of shutdown culture of 1 month and everybody's off. And, there's probably pros with that as well, and that we don't have that. Cínta gohfuil buntáistí ag buint le sin, and part of it's just a different culture, and of course the weather makes such a big difference as well. Being an Aimsir on a tábhachtach is sin comh that it's just so hard to do things here in August because of the heat. Tá sé called Zachar chun rudaí cosúla sin a dhéanú ire bhí lúnasa mar gheall ar an seocht. I mean, just to read out the temperature for next few days. Highest temperature in Seville tomorrow 38, then 39, 40, 41, 38, 35, 34, 37 over the next week on Chéad Seachtain Ella. So you can imagine it's tough to even go and do your shopping or your daily business when it's that hot. Tá sé deacran fiú do chuid siopadóireachta a dhéanamh nuair bhíonn sé có te sin. So interesting difference there, and it's definitely something I think, even when I'm living back at home in the future, if I could. It'd be nice to kind of prioritise a week or two in August and say, right, summer shut down here. Anyone who follows Formula 1, the internet, a bhí lounge Formula 1, like myself, because so lumpsy, you'll know about the summer shutdown and that everything shuts down for 4 weeks in the middle of the summer and they can't do any work on the cars or the drivers can't go into work. And it's, again, quite a European concept. Chuncheap soch Orpach or mainland or southern European on Maureen, no Horpa, no Odeshkart, no Horpa. But I think it's cool. I think it's something we could maybe learn from. But again, easier said than done. A lot of people saying, oh, Liam, I can't take time off work or be down in tools for August or whatever. So it obviously depends on your situation. Bratton say, on gas atá ad. Last thing I wanted to say, I'm not a TV man, right? I don't have Netflix, I don't have Amazon Prime. Níl mé gafa leis an television. Níl Netflix am, níl Amazon Prime am. But these days, I'm obsessed with a show. Tá mé gafa le show. It's not really kind of a Netflix series or anything like that. Ní stra Netflix like Ozark or House of Cards or whatever people do be watching these days. Peyrod Vintini ag féchans na Laethantaí show. But it's kind of a entertainment show, I guess you could say. Show Síimseachta from the United States, Onas Tháitintia, by the name of Impractical Jokers. Impractical Jokers on Tanam Atá Air. And I remember seeing a few clips or watching bits and pieces of it maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Is cuivilum of ag féchant písan nó go initiis réis beidir 2 bliana ó hin. But I only got back into it. I think, when you're watching YouTube and a clip comes up in the recommended, tá ag féchant rud éigean YouTube agus tagan rud éigean aníos recommended, and you click into it and you watch it, chin to a stock agus bín tú ag féchant here. And my goodness me, I can't remember seeing a show as funny. Ní féidir cuimhnú bheith féchant show called Granver. It takes a lot to get me to laugh out loud. Ní bhíonn mé I goire ó sword go minic. We often use that term laugh out loud or LOL or whatever, but how often do you actually laugh out loud? Kickle minic is a bhíonn tú I goire ó sword. But Impractical Jokers is incredible. The concept on the Chuncheap is that basically there's 4 friends. They're all comedians in New York. It's all real. And Tushgler fear. And some people think it's staged, but it's not. It's 100% real. Tush Kate Fungade fear. And they're all comedians. It's fear green Eid Galer. And what will happen is they'll go into a real life situation, maybe going into a supermarket, change sheet gohat gasul ulwarga, or maybe a focus group inside somewhere in an office. It's a group of focus TVSJ in Ifig Kint, or it might be going into a fast food place or whatever. It'll be a toppy in the Rudagan Marshin. And one of them goes in and they have an earpiece in, tá earpiece acu in the chlusa. And the other 3 are backstage somewhere, tá tror ella chuúl státa áit, and they're basically telling them what they have to do. Tá siad san a grálo, cén rud a chaithí siad dainum. As they might say. Go up and take that person's burger and just take a bite out of it. Chéhuigam dinne sin agus caithí tú just bite no cream a hógáil as an burger sin, leave it down, don't say anything, walk away. Agus ágáil síos agus siúl áit an eile. And stuff really random. It's never like really mean stuff. Ní bhíon like really grán ar siúl. Because I know some of those shows, especially some of the stuff on YouTube that kind of have to do with pranks or whatever, way too far. And they go over a line, Haran Lean and bullying or borderline bullying. Tá sé beag nach cosúla bulliocht. They have a great skill on Impractical Jokers. The skill ionta cacu Impractical Jokers of getting the balance right in between having a laugh with people, but also being respectful to people. And obviously they tell them afterwards and they don't have to be in the show if they don't want to. Ní caiith siad a bheith ar an show muna bhfuil siad géirí. But I find all the time when I'm walking about, I have these intrusive thoughts. Níor bhíonn misheag siúl timpeall na háite, bíonn na smaointí se agam. What would happen if you said this now? I'm not going to do it, but what would happen if you said this now? Cad a haar loic, dá nearfa an rud seo anish. What would happen if you just took that thing now and put it on your head? Cad a haar loic, dá dógfa an rud sin agus dá gurfa the chian hain é. And all that stuff, obviously you never do it, na really sin the way, but you almost get to see what does happen in real life when you're watching Impractical Jokers. Is féidir leat ecal agus cad a haar líon ecal Impractical Jokers. Cin annacha atá arú, what's their names? There's Murray, there is Sal Vulcano, Joe Gasho, and Brian Quinn, whose nickname is Q, Lassanum, Q Saoire. Oh, it's so brilliant. I've been watching the last few days. I've been binge watching it because there's these compilation videos on YouTube. The feast on the compilations or YouTube that go on for an hour or 2 hours of Warren or chlig no ga or chlig with best of and the best of Sal Vulcano's kind of missions or tasks or whatever, the best of Brian Quinn's. Oh, there's one, it's brilliant. It's this guy called Sal, and lad Sal Vulcano. And he has to go into a bingo hall with about 200 or 300 people. Kai sé dullas teach a bingo hall, no hala bingo, le gá no 300 daoine. And he's got the earpiece in and a few numbers, they start calling them out, you know. And there's real serious bingo players. Anyone who's worked in a bingo hall or casino, I'm sure will be able to tell you, Anya, a rá gobar, a hala bingo no casino river, baishi the non raw lat, that bingo players don't mess around. They are serious about it. Tá siad and dáire faoin bingo. And it's, if you thought the All-Ireland was important for Mayo, the most ruddy girl dug smuinu, girl crave na heron, távatuk, the chunne weo, you should see bingo players and bingo and how seriously they take it. Cé of dá iras atá sé le hain na daoine sin, often the most important part of their week, go minic an rud is távatí i rith na seachtaine atá acu. So Sal Vulcano goes in and they start calling out numbers S22, because, you know, 88, two fat ladies, because all that stuff, really shin glare. And then they say in his ear, right, bingo, you've got bingo. So he hasn't got bingo at all. He's barely got a single number. Thought, you know, Irigan Knockwill Iver Owan Ega. But he stands up and he says, bingo, I got bingo. 200 or 300 people turn around. Whatever, maybe he has got bingo. But they show his card up on the big screen in the bingo hall. So tá a chórta le feicáil an scáil mór sa chala bingo. And they realise he doesn't have it. He barely has a single number. You know, Arish, Irigan Knockwill Iver Owan Ega. So he sits back down again and people say, well, maybe he got confused, hasn't played before, whatever. They call another 1 or 2 numbers, Iver Nochoella. And they say in his ear, again, backstage, Chul Státe, Darren Sheed in the Chlusa. Get up and say bingo. So he gets up again and says, bingo, I've got bingo. And he's so kind of anxious about it or nervous about it every time he gets up. Tá sé cód nervíise because imneach gach or a chiasan sé sús. And bit by bit, he has to do it 7, 8, 9 times. Kai sé chasa sús, shacht och nor. And every time the people, a lot of them slightly older people, get more and more and more annoyed. Tá sé hairi ní smó or bhuila. Unbelievable TV. Again, without being kind of cruel or harsh, it always kind of stays within the line. Fana sé TV Stids and Leanan is, for the most part, very respectful to people, as far as you can be in a situation like that. Cofada sa féidir I gás mar sin. But some of the different punishments or things they have to do are brilliant and really, really good fun to watch. On crack ag bunch levig vacant here, and I said I must give that a shout out because Lord knows I've watched enough of it over the last week or so to my thresh vacant made Shane la Shachtan anus. So that is it, I think. Shane Capam, not too much else to mention. Neil Moore and Ella Lewis. As I said, last Thursday of August or first Thursday of September on Gerardine Geranach mi Lunasa, no on Cade Gerardine in me Vion Fover. We'll be back with the normal schedule of Gaeilge Weekly. Bam Jarash Leshan Kana schedule GW. A big thank you for listening over the last few months. Mille buíochas as a bheith ag éisteacht le cúpla mí anús. I'm very much looking forward to getting back to chatting with you guys in a few weeks' time. Ag tnú go mór hána féin lev, ag labhairt live arís ag an cúpla seachtain. During August, there'll be loads more stuff coming out over on the LIO membership on Patreon. So don't forget to sign up there for your free trial today. Nod in Jarmud Hun. Trials here in Ashka, a Husu Hall on Shin. Patreon.com/learnirishonline. And that is it. Shine. Enjoy August, enjoy your holidays, or whatever you might be up to over the next few weeks. When Tanhamas payroll the Thar Shulad, it's na chéad cúpla seachtain eile atá amach, even if you're just working away doing the normal stuff, or if you're busier than normal, maybe you're working the Galway races this week, beidir go to gobar a grásí na Gailgefa on Sacht show. If so, I'll see you on Sunday. Feck you may ear on Downlochu, but enjoy it. Hope the weather's good. Tá sullan gwain I'm sure goma, and we'll chat again in a few weeks. Bam jeg lauert le céile ig an cúpla seachtain. Goodbye and God bless. Slán agus Banach.